Good afternoon, Justin, Equinage. It's good to see everybody. Great day yesterday with Old Day on the Stretch Run. Lots of fun. Great day of racing today at not only Gulfstream Park, but up at Woodbine. And I'll tell you, my home track here at Emerald Downs has a great card this afternoon. A ton of, I think they have 4 or 5 stakes races at Emerald this afternoon. So good luck. Hey, Gary, good to see you. Everybody else, thanks for joining. We're going to do this Gulfstream Park cover. We'll look at the pick six too. I had a couple different tickets I looked at, so we'll look at those. But we have this. It's like this middle pick four that they run here at Gulfstream Park, and I also like you can see kind of race 5, 6, 7. I am against Candora here. I know that a lot of people think Candora going to win. I think a vulnerable favorite. There is so much speed here that it would not surprise me to see Cajun Fantasy sit the trip. And when we watch the race sim, the 7 is fast and maybe gets the lead, but puts a lot of pressure on the 3. The one horse is taking money. He comes from far back, but I think a win here. I mean, Fitz wouldn't surprise me, but I'm against the 3. Um, I actually you could toss this horse if you wanted, but I think probably Fitz and I like my races in race 6 and 7, so I'd use here. But I do think Candora I didn't think was a single, so um, I thought Cajun Fantasy could sit the trip and Check the Gray could win on the front at a big price for the apprentice. But let's go to race number 5. I thought this was one of the singles of the pick six. I'm actually going to single twice. I thought that sneak preview for D'Angelo is probably just better than this group. When we watch the race sim, the 5 going to be on the lead, and the 2 and 6 kind of try to sit the trip. The 5 is there at the stretch, but when I look at sneak preview, 1-2 back in a 48, then race 2 tough in a 56 on the turf. Nothing really wrong. I think D'Angelo puts in the right spot here on the drop after the maiden win. Second off that win, gets back to the Tapita. Ultimately, I think he wants the dirt. You can see that from the GSR. But I think can sit the trip here. And again, won a 48 maiden, the 2 won a 34 maiden, and the 5 won a 38. So, and the 2's been running at this level, not winning. And the 5 horse did run last out in that 5.5. But I think this horse probably stops up front. I think sneak preview sits the trip. That's where I would single in this middle pick 4. I think Distinguished Gent has a big shot here as well as what it is. I think Distinguished Gent for the Apprentice Torres, look at the GSR increase here of 16 points. This would be my long shot of the day. You can see 19% on the Equinedge win percent, but 15 to 1 on the board is going to be a massive price, and you get a big GSR increase of 13. And Torres is likely sending. They go from 2 sprints on the Tapita to a route, and I think he sends here, and he could be really dangerous up front. And there's going to be a lot of attention on the Saffie Joseph runner, the 3 horse Message of Hope. But I'm on Distinguished Gent, and then What It Is would be my other shot here to look at a price. I think you could double out of the last race. You could play pick threes. We'll talk about that. But What It Is lands in very kind of soft group and lightly raced. Ran right here last out in the turf. Now gets back to the Tapito where ran at 5.5, stretches out, so be no issue on the GSR. And I think this horse really could sit a good trip. When you look at a race like this for all of these, they haven't been able to win. Shan Sloan is 0 for 9. Not for me. I'm not taking here. I mean, and again, has been facing, similar company, if not easier, not able to win in 38s and 42s and 40s, during the championship meet on the turf, too. So, I just didn't like it there. Message of Hope for Saffie, first time Saffie Rocco Bowen rides, is dropping, did run, but that's a big layoff. I mean, and Saffie does well with these. He's going to come back here, probably be competitive. But look at the GSR drop 28 points on the move to Tapita off the turf. We talked about Distinguished Gent as a long shot, getting a 13-point increase on the stretch out on the Tapita. So I thought this was a great race. I'm tossing the favorite Message of Hope for Saffie. Just completely against there. And then in race 7, I thought this was a 2-horse race. I think Trace Coronas up front did just break the maiden, but this horse has shown talent. I mean, 1 by 6 lengths first out, absolutely flying, and is going to be on the front end today. Avant Glory is going to be up there, but maybe Ocasio can get loose. I think really nice horse, nice GSR, very, very fast, sprinting here on the dirt and going to be dangerous. If the two does get too much pressure and that's too tough to win off the maiden win, I think this race can set up for Raging Glory. I think you only need two horses. I think you, I don't know you'll get a good price on a vertical, but I like both of these horses. You can see for Nolan Ramsey comes off here off the layoff, but Ramsey does really well, 22%. And I think was on the inside now moves outside. So it's a dream trip outside. There's going to be speed up front. And if somebody catch the two, I think it's the seven. So $16 ticket there, middle pick four. Um, I think you can also play here in a pick three, very cheap. Dollar costs us $4. And again, the six going to be big chalk, but we have nice prices in the one and four in race six. And then we really like the two and seven in race seven. All right. If you are looking at the pick six today, this was my original ticket. Very similar to what we looked at. Um, I do think that the last race is absolutely terrible. So I think that's an option is to single there. Protest, we'll talk at a price. We'll talk race 9 and 10 here. We talked pretty much the other races there. The other option for me was a ticket like this. I'm not sure I'm going to land yet. I do like the early single in race five though here, and we talked a lot about that. I think could be the single, but it's where's the second single for me? So let's talk about. I'm going to go back to this ticket. This is the first one I put together, so we'll look here. And again, I think maybe the single comes there in race 9 or 10. So let's jump there. It's a nice allowance optional claim. You'll see though that swerving for Mr. Safi Joseph Edgar Zayas, both leading rider, leader, trainer, really dominant here, has been absolutely dangerous. Latch the hatch fits though, and so what's going to happen if the one gets the lead for swerving? Dropping an SOR's face much easier and off, a layoff, but did run, okay here, but didn't get the lead. So I think Zaya's one plan. He's going to be sending. They went on the lead back here. That's the plan. There is other speed here though, and latch the hatch and the three latch the hatch be right there for Zeno. One at very similar levels here in 60 and 62s, and this is a 64 and was romping. So I think this horse fits, and if I'm gonna go too deep, I'm gonna add a third there to use the three, the long shot, as you can see, 21%. But the other option, as I said, was, do you single the one there with the win percent and the potential speed? I think that's an option, and we talked about that of this ticket here. I think I'll probably land on the first part of my ticket for $36. The thing here that this race and the last is not good, right? So I'll leave you at this. It's just a wide. It's a pretty brutal race. It's a 12-5 maiden claimer, right? Sprinting five on the Tapeta, and the thing that you have here is you have a horse like Tricky Tiger who's 0 for 14. You have Bernardo's Legacy who 0 for 30. These are going to be your two favorites. They're legit going to be favorites. And you can see in the race sim, the six is right there at the stretch and the two pulls away. You can see that Firster actually comes running, maybe a horse to use in a vertical, but it is a long shot. But I think the six is right there. I just don't trust the two, so I'm landing on Protest, who's the other horse that runs second. Scotty Pick is second. You look here at Protest, face some of these last out. In race up near the lead, the one was also in that race there and backed up. The six held on and ended up running third. First time in the Tapeta, and they come back here at five. Again, you'll see the two was in that race, the five was in that race. Neither one of them can win. They've not been able to win. It's a brutal one in the last at Gulfstream. So um, I thought that it was the card okay. Again, this middle pick four probably one of my better bets there. If you just joined us, I will show that. Well, there's the pick six. There's that version there. One more version there. I probably play the first one. We'll see. And then as we recap here, I did think that this middle pick four was a good shot and have a lot of preference here in the sequence um, to start here in race four. But race 5, 6, 7 is where my strongest opinion was. And we'll close it out again. We had a really cheap pick three for a buck. Cost us $4, and that should pay well. If we can get the one or four home. Um, So all right, that's it for today. Good luck if you're playing Woodbine. Monmouth Park, carryover. Great day yesterday in the Haskell. Wonderful job by journalism, Umberto Rispoli and Mr. Tyler Connor. Nice run there. Got us home with the long shot. But good luck if you're playing Woodbine. My home track, Emerald Downs. Great card as well this afternoon in one of our favorite places, Del Mar, Saratoga. Great day of racing. Good luck. That's it for Gulfstream. We'll see you soon.